Alright, for this activity you'll need the air dry clay included in your kit, a couple of acrylic paints, some paint brushes and a pencil, a container for water, and a plastic lid or a paint palette, a plastic knife or a butter knife, and then some scrap paper or newsprint will also work. Okay, we're going to start with our clay rolling stamp. So for this, you're going to need a piece of clay that's about the size of a ping pong ball, slightly smaller than that. Start by rolling it in between your hands. You can roll it against the table if that's easier for you. Now, taking your pencil, you want to place it in the center of your coil. This is called a clay coil. And then you're going to push it all the way through the center, really gently. Then slide it to the center of your pencil. And you're just going to gently roll it against the table to smooth out the surface. So because we're creating a stamp, we want to make markings all over our clay coil. You can make any kind of marking, and you can use any kind of utensil to make those markings. When you're adding your texture to the stamp, you just want to be careful that you're not pushing all the way through to the other side. You just want to carve out your design. Any little bits that are sticking up, you can just gently pat them down and set your stamp aside to dry out. Once the stamp is dry, that's when we're going to make our pencil holder. Now that your rolling stamp is almost dry, you can form the rest of your air dry clay into a big rectangle. Once it's in the shape of a rectangle, you can lay down your newsprint, or you can just do this on a clean, flat surface, and you're going to want to pat the clay down with the palm of your hand, just pressing it and flattening it out. Alright, so now we're going to use our rolling stamp. You can place it back around your pencil, or you can use your hands to just move it across the clay slab. This is going to create all those cool markings that you made all over your slab. And I'm ready to cut it into a rectangle. So you want to use a butter knife or the plastic knife included in your kit to just cut off the edges. This rectangle is going to be used to create a cylinder, and this will be the size of your pencil holder. So you can make it as tall as you want and try to make it as wide as you can. You can bunch up the extra clay and just stick it back in the plastic bag because we're going to reuse it. Now that you have your clay rectangle, you're going to need the pencil as well as a container of water. You're going to gently stand the rectangle up on its outer edge. And then you're going to form it into a cylinder. And you want the two edges at the end to just slightly overlap. Make sure that your texture is on the outside of your cylinder. Now, using your pencil, you're going to score or scratch the area of the clay that overlaps. So I'm just going to take my pencil and make little hash marks on this side and then also on this end. And then I'm just going to dip my finger in the water and run it over those score marks. This is going to help the clay attach at that seam so that it won't come apart as the clay dries. And now you can line up those score marks and just press the clay together gently. All right, so you can set your cylinder aside, and we're going to use that extra clay to create the base for our pencil holder. You can roll this extra clay into a ball shape in your hands. Using your palm, you can just press the clay down onto the flat surface and create a nice round shape. Take your cylinder and place it on top of your round pancake. And then using your pencil or a knife, you want to just trace around the outer edge of your cylinder. And you can press all the way through the clay. Now using your finger, you can go around the outside of that bottom piece and then just move the clay upwards. What you want to do is just get rid of that seam. And this will help the base stay on the cylinder so that it doesn't come apart once the clay dries. Notice the clay at the bottom is kind of flaring out. You can just gently rock your cylinder around in a circle to smooth out that base. Once you're done that, you're going to want to set your pencil holder aside to dry out completely. Now it's time to paint your pencil holder. You can use the acrylic paints included in your kit or any other paints that you have on hand. You'll need a container of water to clean your brushes and your paint palette. You can decorate your pencil holder however you like. When you're done painting it, set it aside to dry and fill it with some pencils for your next art activity.